Welcome to the Essential Skills for Humaning podcast, where we explore the fundamental abilities and insights that make us better humans. Here's your host, Christina Eanes.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this episode of the Essential Skills for Humaning podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Christina Eanes, and we have
Muhlstein. I'm the other host. It's kind of that yin and yang we've got going on here.
I love it. I love it. So now I think we have a month of let's talk about how our mind and body, the connection, how they impact each other. And I thought this one, our topic for today, I love like systems, decision frameworks, that kind of thing. So this came from two different, one in the process of updating, the second edition of The Secret to Super Productivity. And one of the things that help bring us energy, or rather conserve energy, is coming up with systems. And one of those are like almost like rule sets for how we make decisions, how we do just function in life. The other was last week, I was with a group of executives, created an escape room. Huh? No.
Sorry.
I created an escape room experience for them. It was actually quite enjoyable because we know how much I love escape rooms and they really enjoyed it. So I enjoyed it even more. But it was really cool to see how calm and focused and collaborative they were. We don't always see that in escape room situations. No.
We're in executive situations when we have a whole bunch of them in the same room. So that's really lovely.
It is lovely, right? So I was thinking about, I love decision frameworks. I love systems. I love these kind of things. Let's think about like a rule set for how we can make decisions better. And I thought based on those two resources, maybe the main concept is most bad decisions aren't logical failures. They're state failures, mental and physical and emotional state failures. I don't know. Initial thoughts.
I really love that. And that goes, that's really syncs well with a previous podcast about, the whole resilience, right?
Absolutely.
And when we make bad decisions, we're just kind of jumping in on it without thinking through it.
Absolutely.
And it can be for a lot of different reasons. It can be because, we're tired.
Mm-hmm.
We, are fed up.
Yep.
Right? It's just like, I'm just going to make this decision and I don't care if it's good or bad. But there is that mind-body connection there too, in terms of our ability to make a decision that, and these can be like, these don't have to be like, world-changing decisions. These are just
personal or professional. Yeah.
These are just small.
What do I eat for dinner?
Right. Talk about a bad decision, right? You're trying to watch what you're eating and, be healthy and all that sort of stuff. And we're tired and we had a rough day at work and we decide that we're going to have a double cheeseburger with cheese fries and, all the rest of that. Now, was that delicious? Yes.
Does it further our goals?
No. So
yeah.
That could be an example of a bad decision. Did it change the world? No. May change the way that I might have thought of myself at that particular moment or how I felt after eating it. But, that kind of stuff. So I love it.
For our listeners, right? Think about the last decision that you regretted. What was going on there? Were you exhausted, triggered, tired, avoiding discomfort? Raising my hand, maybe trying to prove something. Oh, I made a big decision on that when I was younger. Yep. So the quality of our decisions rarely exceeds, we'll say, the quality of our nervous system in that moment, because that kind of like a mind-body emotional connection.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's look at, we'll call it the calm decision framework.
I love it.
Yeah. So step one, regulate before you evaluate. Do you like the little play on rhyming there?
I do.
So never decide when
the podcast is going to be. Am I going to have to come up with some pithy rhymes?
Yes, I love it. Then we can turn it into a rap.
Yeah.
Well, and this kind of falls into our discussion on the rational defensive continuum. It's never decide on things when we're emotionally hijacked. Right? Taking the time, going, moving, taking that pause is actually more productive.
100%. I have so many examples.
Yes.
Where my emotional state just overcame my ability to be calm and be a rational decision.
Yes.
I mentioned a couple of stories previously, but I also remember another one where I was just having a really bad time at work. I wasn't enjoying what I was doing. And it was the lure of another organization that really wanted me to come work for them. And, all these promises and everything else. And I was feeling very emotional. Some things were happening at work that I don't want to get into here, but I jumped ship.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to the other place. It's this grass is always greener kind of thing. And I got there and I knew immediately that the grass was pretty brown. It's pretty brown. And I have to tell you, the resignation papers weren't even dry yet before I called my old boss and said, I've made a huge mistake.
Please.
Yeah. And you know what? They found a position for me.
Aw.
That, said a lot to me about how they felt about me too.
Yeah.
And my ability, but it could have gone really bad.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Really bad. And so that was a very bad decision made at a very emotional time.
Yes. So
better yourself.
Don't make a decision during an emotional time, right? Regulate before you evaluate. Step one.
The reason why they tell you that you shouldn't make important decisions after you've had anesthesia.
Yeah. Or just anything, right? The massive grieving or anything like that, right? And we all know we got to come up with our own tools. We actually go about these oftentimes in our Speaking Under Pressure class, different ways that we can regulate. So take a moment, go for a walk, like we talked about, box breathing. It's okay to sleep on it.
Yep.
You don't have to solve the problem before bed. Go to sleep on it. Go for a walk, right? Don't reply to that frustrating email right away. Don't decide consequences mid-argument. Take a moment.
Right. And we do. And we talk about that too. It's okay to say, you know what? We talk about this in feedback class too.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't have to agree with what you're hearing and you don't have to respond immediately.
Right.
You can say, thank you for sharing that. I need some time to think about it.
Yeah.
And then follow up.
Exactly. Okay. So step 2, and unfortunately I don't have a rhyme for you on this one.
Good.
I know.
Oh,
No. Define what the real decision is. So what is actually being decided? Are you deciding about maybe a strategy or ego? Is this a resource issue, a communication issue? So what are we actually making a decision on? What problem are we actually trying to solve?
Yeah, kind of that root cause, right? We talk about that. What's the root cause of, the issue?
Yeah. Work, right? We get metrics that we're not happy with. Well, should we pivot the program? Totally change it, scrap it? Maybe first looking at our metrics and seeing, did we define success metrics clearly? Are we measuring what we really intend, the impact? Or this is one my husband wishes I would do more. Maybe at home, if we're thinking, should we move? Because we're bored, or something that we like to move. Maybe the question should we be asking is, are we craving novelty right now? And what's a different way that we can solve that? Yeah. And I see you laughing because you know how many times I've moved in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
I like new things. Residence-wise, by the way, not like job hopping, residence-wise.
Right. But what can you do to maybe refresh where you currently are?
Exactly.
Move, right? Yeah. So maybe that for you, it was, I like new things.
Yes.
I like things to be different.
New experiences, new differences.
Yeah.
Rearrange the house.
Paint.
So regulate before we evaluate, define the real decision. 3rd, determine the decision type. So what does this mean? So there's 3 useful categories. There's, is it reversible? And this is known as the two-way door. And this reminds me of growth mindset, right? Can I walk through this door and come back if I need to? So if it is, we could pilot it. We could try it. We could make the call more quickly, right? And then adjust later because we can come back through that door. There's the one-way door. So these ones are irreversible. This is where we need to slow down. We need to maybe get diverse input from all the, stakeholders involved, home life or work life. This is where we need to sleep on it. We need to consider what's impacting systems thinking, what's going to be impacted in all of the different areas of our lives and or work if this is going to happen. So that's the ones that we need to really take the time.
Yeah.
And then there's
really have a lot of consideration.
Yes.
It's that point of no return.
Yeah. So the two-way door, the one-way door, and then there's the ones that are identity based. So think of these as, does this align with our values?
Mm-hmm.
Does this align with who we say we are, who we think we are, that kind of thing. So identifying what type of decision we're making. Yeah.
I love that last one too, because there's so many applications of that. If we're looking at it at work, we have our work culture, we have who we are, how we want to be considered or appreciated. It's the old story of when you become a manager, you think about how do I want to be managed, right?
Yep.
What do I want from my leaders? And that, how can I emulate the things that I like about that?
Yeah.
Because that's very much, and that goes to what we were talking about earlier in terms of self-awareness.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, and speaking of self-awareness, typically most stress occurs when we are treating the reversible decisions, so the two-way door decisions, as one-way door. Yeah, we're putting a lot of stress on ourselves. We're overthinking those racing thoughts at 3 a.m. When it's really something that we can just try and then come back from if we don't like it.
Right. Or come back from it, or what do I have to, noodle through, right?
Exactly.
What didn't work?
Yeah.
Well, this could work.
Yeah.
If I changed this.
Yeah.
That could work.
Yeah.
But we so often we look at decisions that it's like a yes or a no.
Exactly.
That one-way door. But maybe there are times where we can say, if I go through the door, can I go back? It's like the decision that I made to leave. I was lucky that I could come back.
Yeah.
But that could have very easily have been a one-way door decision.
Yeah.
And it was a one-way door decision. But luckily, I was able to go back.
Luckily, yeah, yeah.
Luckily.
Yeah. So that's why I like the framework is one, what decision that we're actually making. I'm saying often, according to Chris, it isn't the one that we think we're making, right? And then figuring out what type of decision this is. And oftentimes I think we think it's irreversible when it's not.
Yeah.
Including even getting a new job. I loved your point. And then the final step is assign ownership. So who's responsible for making the decision? Who needs to provide input? Who's responsible for executing it? Who's responsible for communicating it? It may not always be you, but we may not even be in the right position to make the decision. So we need to bring it to someone else. And I often see, and I don't know about you, I often see that, especially in organizations, well, even at home, they're not getting input from all of the stakeholders that really need to be. And then they implement a policy or a procedure. And then all of a sudden, this group that they had no idea comes up and says, what are you doing? This is messing with blah, blah, blah. And this is the negative impacts it's having. So if they're not taking that time to really look at and involve all of the owners in the decision, I mean, think about how much it's costing us time, money, relationships, etc. I don't know. Thoughts?
I mean, especially if you don't always have the expertise, right? You don't have the be all end all expertise. When we think about accountability, because, who's responsible, right? And we look at the ladder of accountability where we're, having more accountable behaviors that we're acknowledging the reality. And when a lot of times when we're talking in class about owning the solution, owning it, and then owning the solution, I always try to emphasize that you don't have to be the one that's coming up with everything.
Yes.
Because you are not working in a vacuum. You have to depend on the expertise of other people.
Yes.
And so it's kind of that group responsibility. Everybody's responsible for their piece of it, but it doesn't have to be just you.
Yeah.
When you think it's just you, that also tends to fall flat too.
Yes. Even at home, it's a group effort. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then finally, we close the loop. And I think this is an underrated and underutilized step. So we are stating that decision clearly, documenting it. I can't tell you how many organizations I have seen that they'll have a meeting, a decision is made, no one documents it, no names are put in there, right? And then communicating the expectations on what's next, who's going to implement this, how are we going to do it? How are we going to move forward? So very clear. I mean, we love to talk about communication, right? Very clear closing of the loop. This decision was made. This is how we made it. This is the results of it. This is who's going to implement it, etc.
Yeah, I was just kind of, laughing to myself. There's so many times where you'd hear, did we decide on that?
Uh-huh.
What did we come up with? And then everybody would have a different opinion of what was decided. So you're absolutely right. In closing the loop, everybody needs to know this was the decision that was made. Here's who's responsible for what, when it's going to get done, whatever, even if it's at home or at work.
Exactly. Clarity. And it's funny too, in our accountability course, we talk about clear expectations, and we talk about, have you provided clear expectations? And without fail, there's always like, well, I told someone 6 times what they needed to do. And I'm like, did you tell them 6 times the same way? Or did you adjust the communication based on how they best receive information and then checked for clarity? And not just like, do you understand? And they nod their head, actually having them come up with their own words on what needs to happen next.
Yeah. Like that open-ended question.
Yes.
What else do you need?
Yeah.
Who else can help?
Yeah.
Setting those, being very clear.
Yeah.
Time, reference, all that sort of stuff.
Absolutely.
And the check-in, right? It's not just, the micromanagement. It's the check-in, the regular communication. There's that word again, but that regular communication of where we are and what challenges we may have, and being able to make those adjustments before at the end of the road when it's that point of no return and you've walked through the door.
Exactly. The one-way door.
The one-way door.
Yeah. So I think this totally ties into our mind-body connection theme this month. Calm decision-making isn't about being emotionless. It's about emotional awareness. It's about making sure that we are in touch with what's going on with us, our state, our emotional state, our physical state, that we're aligning it with our energy and everything. Because, as we mentioned in our other episode, leadership begins with regulating ourselves before we regulate the room, because we make that weather.
Yeah, I love it.
Hey. So let's leave some questions for our folks before we close. What decision are you currently postponing because you're overwhelmed? What state are you in when you think about it? Is it reversible? Who owns it? And what would calm clarity decide?
I'm already starting to think about these things.
So we'll both think of these while you, our listeners, are also thinking of these. Any final thoughts, Lori?
No, I mean, I really loved where we were going this month because, it's springtime and, It's kind of like we think about rebirth and
yes,
flowers and everything else. And so this is a great time for us to think about how we are feeling from a physical perspective and how that's influencing our decision making, our mental acuity, those kinds of things.
Yeah.
Really loved our discussion, and I trust that our listeners are too.
Absolutely. Well, and I love that you mentioned spring, time for trying something new.
Yeah.
Rebirth. Let's do this. All right. Thank you all for joining us today. We'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Transform your organization with Eanes Training. Our premier interpersonal skills training programs are tailored to enhance your organization's employees in communication, emotional intelligence, leadership, and more. We have a catalog of expert-led courses designed to meet the dynamic needs of today's workforce. With highly engaging in-person, hybrid, and remote sessions, we can help elevate your organization's performance and success. Learn more at eanestraining.com. Thank you for tuning in to the Essential Skills for Humaning podcast. We hope you've gained valuable insights to enhance your journey as a human being. Remember, practice makes progress. Keep honing those essential skills, and until next time, keep being the best version of yourself. For more resources, visit eanestraining.com.